biggest news since we last spoke is Igor Shesterkin getting put on injured reserve with an upper body injury. He'll miss at least 7 days, so I believe that projects him to return against the Stars if he's ready. There hasn't been any indication if it's longer or not, but Larry, let's start with you. What was your reaction to hearing that when it rains, it pours now Igor Shesterkin is on injured reserve?
Well, actually, I don't mind him being down for, I don't want him to be injured. Obviously, I have no idea what the extent of the injury is. He was crashed into pretty hard by Sam Bennett when he was hit by Lindgren. But other than the physical, I don't mind Igor sitting down for a week. I think his game had deteriorated over the last couple of weeks. We know how messy it is in the defensive zone. We know how scrambly it is in the defensive zone. But I think it kind of got to him over the last week or two. And I don't think he'd been playing particularly well either. So from a team standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, I don't mind having Jonathan Quick playing 3 out of the next 4 games, or whatever it is, 4 out of the next 5, or 5 out of the next 7. I don't think they lose very much there. If Igor's not at his best, then I'm fine with going with Quick, and because Quick's best is equal to Igor's best.
He showed that last night. He was spectacular. That was one of the best performances I've seen. And yeah, I agree with you, Larry. He was a little off, couple leaky goals here and there. When he's on, those don't go in. Let him reset. Hopefully, it doesn't linger though. There should be a little concern there. Anytime anybody goes to IR, you hope it doesn't linger. And it's something that maybe last year he took a little bit of time and got some practices in, and came back, and his second half was outstanding, right? So it's, I guess if you're the Rangers, you want your goalie to be well. You want both goalies to be well, but you want that as well. Like when he's back, let's get that second half Igor back.
Yeah. When you're a number one goaltender at the status of Igor Shesterkin, you have to be able to rise above the play in front of you, right? And he did for about a month. Again, this has been it's chaotic, much of the time in front of him, in front of Quick. Quick's numbers took a real beating too through December. But I think when you're at that level, you can't just say, well, the team's not playing well in front of me. He never says that.
No, of course not.
He never says that. But in your mind, you have to be able to be. You have to be the best player, right? He's their best player. You have to be their best player. And so I think Igor needs to be a little bit better when he comes back. Again, hopefully the injury is not serious. Hopefully it is not a long-term issue. But when he comes back, he needs to be a little bit sharper.
Yeah, I agree. It is a little chaotic in the D zone. I think they liked last night in the D zone. I did.
It was a little. Well, it was a little.
It was outside, right? But they were, and a lot of it was optics, because the Bruins were trying to make seam passes, and they converted in the second, and the third. Thought they had some good stick. Actually, thought Will Borgen had one shift where he made 2 unbelievable stick checks, and but I'd like him to close out and kill plays a little quicker. Little zone time issue. Jonathan Quick should have the day off today. That's all I'm gonna say. He was in that goalie stance, the ready position, for far too many minutes last night.
Yeah, I mean, how lucky are the Rangers though to have this version of Jonathan Quick? I mean, Larry and I were talking about it on our way out of the Garden last night, but I mean, his journey aside, but those were some incredible save sequences last night. I mean, the 3 in a row, right and tight, the crazy pad save on Charlie McAvoy. I mean, it's so fun to watch, and it's unbelievable the level that he's at his age, especially after having a couple of down years. But I think that the Rangers are so beyond lucky that they have a guy like Jonathan Quick